So today's day 93. I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can be affected by other people and what they think about what we're doing in our life. So often if we want to step out and be seen and create something that may be a little bit different than the mainstream, we will get some criticism, and we will also get people kind of saying, I don't think you should be doing it that way, or I don't think you should be doing it like that. And I spoke about this the other day after receiving a message from somebody, feedback on a Facebook Live that I did, and some feedback in another area of my life that was not really welcome. And I didn't ask for that feedback, but it was given anyways, and it was quite cruel. It was a cruel feedback. It was also from somebody who doesn't have the same outlook on life that I do, and who is very different to me. So often we can receive criticism in what we're doing when we're stepping forward and stepping out into the light and bringing forth our beauty and our strength and our voice and our passion and our yearnings and desires into the world. It can be really confronting for some people. And so those people may step up and start, trying to pull us back down to somewhere that they think that we should be, or somewhere that looks better to them. However, what we need to do is surround ourselves with people who encourage us. So when somebody tears you down or criticizes you or tries to, have their say in what you're doing and how you should be doing it, it's really, really important to make sure that you find support from other people who actually are encouraging you and wanting to lift you up and say, yeah, go for it, just go for it. And what can happen, unfortunately, is that we can get afraid to step out after people say these things, or kind of step up and say things about us. We can be afraid to step up and step out and become visible. And on an energetic level, it can really affect us. So when somebody says something negative and criticizes us, when we are doing our best to put ourselves out into the world and to express our passion out into the world and to bring our voice out into the world no matter what, when somebody steps up and says something really negative to pull us down, it can have an immediate effect on our mental state, obviously, and our emotions. But what can happen is it can have an energetic effect that is quite hard to distinguish, and it's quite hard to pick up on until maybe a couple days later, a week later, or a month later, or a year later, when suddenly you kind of realize, you're like, hey, I stopped doing what I was doing after that person gave me that negative feedback. And, sometimes there'll be one person who will give you some negative feedback, and then, maybe 10 people who won't and will lift you up and say you're wonderful. And then maybe a month later, another person will give you some negative feedback. And slowly you kind of energetically take on what they're saying, and you start to make yourself small again, and you stop stepping out. You stop bringing your yearnings and your desires and your passion out into the world, because on an energetic level, they've actually kind of squashed you down. They kind of squash you down and squash you down, squash you down. And if you're really not aware of what's happening on an energetic level, then you may fall prey to it. So it's really, really important when somebody gives you negative feedback that's not welcome, that doesn't align with you, that is not yours, and we know when something is not ours, especially as women. When somebody tries to push something onto us that is not ours, it's not how we see life, it's not what we wish to be doing with our passions and our desires and our voice and our visibility, it's not ours, it's theirs, and we know that. So when somebody does try and lay that on you, the most important thing to do is to get up straight away and put your voice out there again. Get back in front of the camera, get back on the stage, get back, stand up, and let the world hear your voice again straight away, and keep doing it. keep going on your consistent path that you were doing before that negative feedback came. So this is a really, really important thing energetically, to make sure that you just step up again, step up again, step up again. And if you get more negative feedback, step up again, keep stepping up. And when I'm talking about this negative feedback, I'm not talking about constructive criticism and people who love you, support you, and are just like, hey, you know, I think it could be better if you did it like this. And, you know, I'd like to see more of this. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who kind of dump their shit on you, and you know deep in your heart that it's not yours and it's a gift that you don't want. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about loving, constructing, uplifting criticism that helps you kind of shift and move and better yourself and better your visibility. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the negativity that people dump on you that does not belong to you at all. And I give you full permission to really own what is yours, what is your passion, what is your voice, what is the way that you're going to bring your beauty to the world, what is your way, and own it. And nobody can touch it. It's yours. And people who love you and support you can help you even shine it more and bring it out more. But people who just want to drag you down and want to comment on it in a negative way that doesn't help you, do not listen to them. They have nothing to do with your path and your destiny. All right? So I give you full permission to own yourself, own your passion, own your yearnings, own your deepest desires, own the way that you bring your voice out into the world as the most authentic space that you can step into in whatever way you wish to do. That's yours and nobody can touch it. People can lift you up and help you bring it out more and magnify you, but people who come at you with negative comments to try and bring you down and to kind of squash you down, do not listen to them. It's not yours. You don't have to own it. It's a gift that you do not want, and you can say thank you for that gift, but I'm not going to receive it. You can keep it. So that is day 93.